Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee with the Fantasy Football Consultants, breaking down Week 11 full cash lineups on DraftKings and FanDuel. And we're going to start with our favorite player here on the Fantasy Football Consultants, at least this year, Christian McCaffrey. And, just about everything that could go wrong went wrong last week against a tough Ram defense. He was terrible, only got 30 yards rushing, didn't get in the end zone. But because of his involvement in the passing game, it wasn't a good game, but it wasn't a miserable game. So we're looking for a lot better things out of McCaffrey this week as he faces a much easier defense in the Arizona Cardinals. He does cost a pretty penny, $9,000, but we think he's worth it given his solid floor. Who will we pair McCaffrey with? We need a back that, in my opinion, is the perfect back where we save money, and we think we found it. Jaylen Warren, the lead back of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, he checks every box you want in an NFL DFS running back. He is home. He is favored. He has an excellent implied total of 27.5 points, and he faces the most forgiving defense in the NFL. The defense that has given up more points than any other team. The defense that is dead last this year against running backs. So at $6,100, love this. This gives us an opportunity to go nuts and pay up big time for Jamar Chase, who is the best wide receiver in fantasy in the NFL, in the best possible matchup. He is facing, on the other side of the field, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's dead last against wide receivers. It's obvious that Joe Flacco locks in on Jamar Chase, and you see what Jamar Chase has done since week 5, most of those with Joe Flacco. So we've got Jamar Chase in our lineup. We had to pay $8,500. So with McCaffrey and Chase, we're going to have to save some money. We'll start at quarterback, and I think we still get a decent amount of quality. Look at the consistency that Jacoby Brissett has given us in the last 4 Arizona games when he became the starter. Now, in this matchup, he is at home. He faces a San Francisco defense. They've just been hit so hard with injuries. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. They're a defense you'd like to go up against. And look what Jacoby Brissett has done. Last week, in a nightmare game against the Seahawks, he still churned out a decent performance. He was 22 of 44, which matched the score. They lost 22 to 44. Let's get Brissett in the lineup, and we save money. Sub $5,000. All right. From there, let's get Tez Johnson in the lineup at only $4,700. And it's all about opportunity, folks. You guys know Mike Evans has been out for a long time. But Chris Godwin is listed as doubtful, and he is expected not to play in this game. So Tez Johnson should be the second option at wide receiver behind Emeka Egbuka. So we'll get Johnson in the lineup for $4,700. And again, taking advantage of injuries, how about Dontavian Wicks at a basement price of $4,000? So first of all, Jaden Reed has been out for a long time. He continues to be out. So that has elevated him. But most importantly is the loss of Tyler Kraft. He was a huge target hog for Jordan Love. Opens it up for a lot of people. Now watch the news about, looks like Romeo Doubs is going to be okay. But watch the news for Matthew Golden. If Matthew Golden plays, this is a decent pick. But if Matthew Golden is out, this is a great pick given his price. You saw when both of those guys were out last week, he 4 of 8 in a game where the offense especially the passing offense, could do absolutely nothing against the Eagles. Much better sledding this week facing the New York Giants. All right, so after saving money there, we're going to save even more at tight end. I'll call it our tight end spot. We get decent production out of Dalton Schultz at $3,900. He is the clear starting tight end and passing tight end for these Houston Texans, and he falls into just a dream matchup facing an absolutely awful Tennessee Titans team. You can see Schultz has been very active over these last 4 weeks. Got to expect more of the same against the Titans defense. And we're going to go a little crazy. We're going to go double tight end, which allows us to pay up and get, to me, a tight end that's better than a ton of different wide receivers. I mean, he is Jacoby Brissett's number one target on this Arizona Cardinals team. We've already talked about how the San Francisco defense is hurting. There's not much else to say about McBride. I think he's the best fantasy tight end in the NFL, and Brissett is just locked in on him. All right, this leaves us just enough money to get the Denver Broncos. Look, the Broncos is our premier defense, but you're not paying premier prices, and they're at home at Mile High. I get it. Kansas City is a good offense, but it's an offense that is going to be throwing the ball. And when you throw the ball, good things happen for the opposing defense. You know, that's where all the sacks occur, all the interceptions occur, and a majority of the fumbles occur. This Denver defense puts pressure on the quarterback. 6 sacks, 4 sacks, 2 sacks, 4 sacks, 9 sacks, 6 sacks in the last few weeks. So I love this pick as a defense. We don't normally like to spend up in defense, but we're really not here at only $2,600 to get a quality Denver defense. That's our DraftKings lineup. Normally, we take this time to throw in a commercial break, but this is important. No commercial breaks, paid commercial breaks, but I'd like to talk to you about fantasy football consultants, where if you go to any of our videos, for example, we just posted our Survivor Week 11 video. Check that out if you haven't. It was a good show. Underneath the video, we have our store. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of our store, because right now we are running a 20% off everything sale, which is going to expire 5 days from now. So you just click redeem and go shopping. Now, I want to be super clear on this. We get absolutely nothing from the sales of our merchandise. We wanted to price the merchandise so it was very competitive, right? So the shirt that I normally wear on the show is $22. Nice polo shirt. And you can go through the catalog. But beyond that, if you order in the next 5 days, you get 20% off, which is a great deal. Just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of this. The holidays are coming up, so not a bad idea if you want to do some Christmas shopping early. All right, so let's get back into it, and let's go to our FanDuel lineup, the full cast lineup for Week 11. All right, everybody, let's look at our FanDuel lineup. You got to make sure you watch the DraftKings show. You didn't skip it, because we're covering 2 running backs. So we're on the DraftKings show for our FanDuel lineup as well. That is Jaylen Warren and Christian McCaffrey. So we got to save some money. So in addition to having Christian McCaffrey, we're going to have JJ McCarthy. So I guess this lineup is brought to you by McDonald's. All right. Anyway, let's talk about JJ McCarthy. This guy is so cheap on FanDuel. You have to scroll down for days before you get down to him at only $6,800. Look, what I like about McCaffrey, besides the fact that, he's placing a Bear defense that I don't care that they're 11th versus the pass. They've been terrible this year against quarterbacks. And JJ McCarthy should be able to take advantage of that. I love the fact that he supplements his passing game with running. So he gives us that nice floor, especially for his price. All right, let's move on to wide receivers. I am a Keenan Allen owner, and I'm the first to tell you that he is taking a back seat now to Ladd McConkey, who seems to be Justin Herbert's favorite target. $7,500 doesn't break the bank. He's in a good matchup here as he faces the Jacksonville Jaguar defense. So along with McCaffrey, we're going to put Tez Johnson, who we had in the DraftKings lineup, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Doesn't really matter it is Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson. They love peppering Wan'Dale Robinson with targets, which is here on for daily fantasy and even a half PPR on FanDuel. Although I got to admit, I'd rather it be Jackson Dart. We'll see whether he recovers from the concussion he had last week. At tight end, we talked about him on DraftKings. We get a premier tight end of Trey McBride facing the San Francisco 49er defense, who's been hit with injuries. And that leaves us at the flex position with a decision. So one option is to go with RJ Harvey. Now, I am an RJ Harvey owner in my fantasy league, and I know all about him, folks. I spent a decent amount of auction capital to get him on our team, and he's been a disappointment because he's taken a backseat to J.K. Dobbins. You can see they want to get him involved. He's gotten, before last week, 3 straight weeks where he scored touchdowns. But here's the good news, and I hate to call this good news because in fantasy football, you should never root for any injuries. But J.K. Dobbins is hurt. There's rumors that he may go on the IR. You got to follow the news and make sure that Dobbins doesn't play this week. Because if Dobbins is out, now RJ Harvey is the lead back here at home against Kansas City. This is a steal at $5,800 if Dobbins is out. And then what we need to do, and note, they're going to use Harvey at the goal line. They're going to use him in the passing game, and he should get significantly more carries if Dobbins is out. And we have enough money at $3,300 to get the Atlanta Falcons defense, who are playing at home, facing a Carolina Panther defense who's 30th ranked passing offense. Bryce Young really struggled last week against the Saints defense. So really like how this lineup got put together. Be honest with you, I really like how both our FanDuel and DraftKings lineups came together here. We just need to watch the news relation to, well, for this, Tez Johnson, Chris Godwin should be out, so that should be a go. But we need to know about J.K. Dobbins. What if you say J.K. Dobbins does play? Then I would get Harvey out. And I have another pivot for you at the flex position. We're going to have to spend more money. So, you could consider Tyrone Tracy, who's the starting back on the New York Giants, but he actually hasn't done that great in taking over for Cam Skattebo. I would rather Woody Marks in a tremendous matchup against the Tennessee Titans. You see, they're 30th against running backs. Now, we just went $300 in the hole, so we're not Congress. We can't just put in a lineup where we're $300 in the hole. But we can downgrade at defense. We have a choice of the Bengals or the Giants. I'll pick the Giants at home against a Green Bay offense, quite honestly, that has been struggling. especially with the loss of Tyler Kraft. So that would be my alternative lineup. Hey, you might like this lineup more even if J.K. Dobbins is out. But if J.K. Dobbins is playing, this lineup is definitely better than the previous one. All right, everybody. I really would like to hear your comments. We kind of have a drive this week. The people on NFL Survivor are trying to make sure we reach 12,000 subscribers. Help them out by, if you are not subscribed and you're watching this video, please, it's free. Smash the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, we're doing a push this week. Tell a friend, tell a family member, use another device, another login, and subscribe for us and see if we can reach our goal of 12,000 subscribers this week. It's a lofty goal, but if we do it, we will definitely have a standalone NFL DFS show next week. If we don't, there will probably be a change in our programming next week. All right. I really appreciate all you guys. It's been a crazy year doing this with you, but you know what? I didn't think that I could do a show and be comfortable all my own doing NFL DFS. But I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed those of you who are making comments in the comment section. Please keep that up. You need to supplement what I say on early Wednesday morning. As news comes out, let us know how you would change these lineups or what particular guy I didn't talk about who you think we should be considering. Thank you guys very much. Have a great week 11 and wish you all the best in your fantasy football leagues and lineups.